Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Just Plain Living. We're glad you guys could join us today. I'm Jim Fuller, sitting in for John Gray.
I'm so glad to see you.
It's good to be back. I may have to be retrained.
Right.
I've been.
I'm Peggy Burton. I couldn't get off my hill last week, so I'm glad to be back.
Right.
It was really thick out at my house, and I live kind of straight up driveway.
Yeah.
I got a lot of rest.
I bet you did. Did you get bored?
No, I didn't get bored. I don't hardly ever get bored, but it was so beautiful, you have to say.
Yeah.
The world was wiped clean for a moment in time, and
right.
I love looking at it.
Yeah.
I guess the kids loved it.
Yeah.
I saw
my grandkids were out in it. I guess it was Wednesday night when it was coming down so much, and they had a big time.
I was lucky at my house. I never lost power, and I know lots of people in the area that lost power for a week. And Texas, oh my gosh.
Oh, can you imagine that? They've got some kind of different power grid out there. And, now people are getting utility bills for $7,000.
I know, I don't understand that. How can that be?
Unbelievable.
I have lots of relatives in Texas, and most of my relatives come from pioneer stock, and they can almost live through anything.
Yeah.
But it has been horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Well, plus they're not used to that kind of cold weather out there in Texas, so it's just been a nightmare for them.
When I lived in Texas, I can remember going to get my hair cut and wearing a pair of shorts and a little simple top, and I went in that way, and when I came out, the temperature had dropped to 20 degrees.
Oh, my goodness.
That was Texas.
Yeah.
It was, you just never knew what you were going to get.
Right. What part of Texas did you live in?
We were in San Antonio. It was an Air Force base there.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Ralph was stationed. We spent 2 tours there.
You lived a lot of different places.
I've lived a lot of different places and survived most of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Time, space.
Yes.
I keep thinking I'm going to write a lot of that down. For a long time, I kept a running log of the kind of things we did, and horrible things and good things, and finally you run out of time.
I wished I'd have done that about a lot of things. As you know, and most people know, I worked with the American Legion, still do some, but for 35 years, and it's strange now that I have got to the point where people are asking me stuff about what happened back then. And it's like I'm about the only one left that remembers that.
I know, the same here.
Alan Harris, who's the current commander, is always telling me, you need to write all this stuff down.
I love Alan.
Yeah.
What a great tribute to this community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm really proud of him. He's always out there hustling and doing good things.
Yes, he is.
Thank you, Alan.
So I'm filling in today for John Gray, by the way, who had surgery yesterday.
I know. He was kind of in a good mood this morning. I think he was still on drugs.
Did you talk to him this morning?
I didn't talk to him, but he sent a message.
I see, yeah.
And he said he was on the tail end of his drug overdose, not overdose, but what they give you when you have surgery. He had hip surgery. But I understand he's up walking.
Yeah, I got a text message from a friend. And,
isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
How long have we been able to replace limbs like that?
I don't know. I'm guessing 10 or 12 years, 10 or 15 years.
It's just amazing, because I always think about my knee surgery. Maybe if it had been 30 years ago, I might not have been able to get it. So I'm thankful I can walk.
Yeah. And I think John's going to have that at some point or other. Hopefully it's just one.
Oh.
I understand from people that have had that, and you had that.
I think it's the worst thing that ever went through me.
People say if you need them both done, you better get them both done at the same time, or you won't do it again.
I will say this. The rehab center in Tullahoma, NHC is where I went. They were fabulous. Mm-hmm. The ones that worked with me, they would not put up with your whining and crying and saying, I don't like this. They just keep pushing, and I always give accolades to them, because They didn't treat me like I was an old woman that couldn't move. They just nearly beat me to death.
Right. Yeah, I can remember the therapy about killed you there for a while.
Yeah, the therapy is tough.
But you know how that had changed over the years as well, because used to, when something like that happened, you were laid up for
forever.
Forever, you know.
But now you're up and walking.
You know, as I said, John, they had him up walking yesterday afternoon after the surgery.
I was driving myself to therapy within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't drive for 2 weeks, and it wasn't a problem. I was a little slow, but got through it.
Right.
Anyway.
I mean, used to when women had babies, they'd been in the hospital for 3 or 4 days. I think now they said
they throw them out.
They throw them out immediately. So crazy.
So many things have changed. Surgery is not near the horrible thing that it used to be.
Right.
It's bad enough, but.
Right.
And I think at least people, due to COVID, a lot of people had to wait. John had to wait a long time for his surgery.
Right.
So I think they're back working on a few other things now, and that's good.
Exactly. And COVID, the news is getting better, at least in
I think so.
Tennessee, and actually across the country, hospitalizations are way down.
I was hoping that the big freeze we had would freeze out some of the germs.
Right. And now we're down to I think today 120-something cases, active cases
in Tennessee or in
no, in Coffee County.
In Coffee County.
In Coffee County. And at one time, about the middle of December, there was about 870, 80.
I feel like that maybe it's taking a turn now.
Yeah.
I hope. I feel like it's happening. That doesn't mean we need to go out and be kissing and hugging on everybody we see.
No, but I want to, don't you?
Yeah, I need a hug so bad.
Right. I saw a doctor from Vanderbilt on television this morning. He was talking about how he thinks that part of the reason that the cases are down so much nationwide is because there's probably 4 or 5 times as many people that have actually had it than has been reported, because they never
knew they had it.
They never knew they had it.
I think a lot of people.
And that combined with the people that are getting vaccinated, which is ramping up big time now, has caused it.
A lot of people I know are really reluctant to get the shot, but I take it as if I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Just go
Absolutely.
Ahead. But I've run the gamut of shingle shots and COVID shots, and they've been like 2 weeks apart in some instances. So I'm glad that that's all done.
Something you have to go through.
Yeah.
The shingles shots, which didn't used to be around. This used to
I
didn't
know,
have those.
but if shingles can knock you out for a long time.
Yeah. Right.
And I had the original shingle shot. But my doctor said the new shots, where you have to have 2, was better for you, so I just went ahead and did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Might as well.
So I'm shot full of vaccines.
Right. Last night was a big night for TV if you live in Tullahoma, because the couches were on American Pickers last night, and they are of course in the process of trying to get rid of all the stuff they have in that store as they've closed the store. And so Fran and Candy were there. They were on American Pickers. And we have, I believe, a short clip from that. We're going to bring that to you right now.
Are you having fun over there, Mike?
Completely. Finding a lot of old photos, some advertising. This building was really, really incredible. Really tall, original beadboard ceilings, large wooden structural posts, original wood floor, interior brick walls, a lot of square footage. But a lot of stuff is inside of this place. And what's cool about it is that you never know what you're gonna find, because there were so many different types of business in there. Like the calendar I found in the back. It was for a business in their community that was workwear related. Look at this.
Tennessee Overall, it's right down the street, 1970, wow.
These guys are still here?
Yes, they are, and Tennessee Apparel now is what they're called.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So this isn't really old, but the subject matter is great. Bullseye brand, pants, overalls, dungarees, workwear. You know, this is advertising, denim, and what a great slogan, the kind we wear. I mean, the top sheet isn't that great, but some of the bottom sheets are in better condition. You could actually frame each page of the calendar. That's what I'm looking at. So on something like this, I do, it's dirty, there's a little bit of water damage and some tears, but subject matter is everything with this piece. $75.
Wow.
We're doing it?
We're doing it.
If you look at the square footage of that room and what I pulled out of there, that's how difficult this pick is. There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of photos, but the photo subject matter is really just portraits and stuff. You know, but you have to go through everything to feel good about what you're doing. You don't want to drive away and go, man, I wish I would have looked under that desk.
And all new American Pickers, Monday at 9 on History.
Are we back?
All right.
That was great, wasn't it?
It was great. You know, that they came to Tullahoma. I think the American Pickers are based maybe in Nashville, I think, or at least they have an
office there
in Nashville. So, you know, and this I understand was the first episode of the American Pickers that they'd shot since the COVID had started.
Right.
So I'm sure the production process, as well as what they put on the air, is just.
So maybe Tullahoma would be world famous now.
We already are world famous, are we?
We're the only Tullahoma in the world, aren't we?
We're the only Tullahoma in the world. Yeah, we are.
But I cannot imagine how much stuff is in there. I know there's a wealth of history. Bob was a big historian.
He was.
I know he didn't like to throw anything away of value like that, and I'm sure Candy and Fran kind of picked up on that too. They're both people that hang on to stuff and value treasured things.
Yeah, and when you consider that business has been there since the late 1800s.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And the Couches have actually owned it, or their family has, and so you know there's a lot of history involved
Not long,
in
and
that
really
space.
After the Civil War, they took over, and they've been there for. There's a lot of people that have been in Tullahoma a long time, I guess. At least the heritage of ancestry and everything.
You spoke about Tullahoma being the only town by that name in the world, but I read somewhere that there used to be a town in Mississippi that was also named Tullahoma, but they changed the name of it.
Oh, well, good.
So now we're the only ones.
We don't want anybody else to have this name.
That's right, and they don't. You know, most of the time when you look up something on the internet, you have to type in the city and the state.
Now you can just put Tullahoma.
You can just put Tullahoma. It's the only one.
I love that.
It's the only one.
That.
So, anyway. So, Peggy, have you been staying home most of the time during the pandemic, or have you been?
I've been in and out. I haven't let it stop me from living.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid to go out to eat. I'm not afraid of many things. I'm cautious when I do things, but I was lucky during this snow that my daughter-in-law's sister and her husband were traveling in an RV from California on their way to Virginia. So they stopped at my house, and then the first big snow hit. So before they left, they cleaned all that up. So I missed them when they were gone. They were wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
They had two fuzzy dogs, and I enjoyed having them there.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going anywhere.
Right. Well, it was kind of except for the power outage, it was probably a good thing because people got to enjoy it.
Some people got it really bad. Beverly Long, for instance, I think theirs was out a week and trees were down, and it was just very hard for them.
Yeah. But, it didn't last all that long,
no,
which is
we're
good.
lucky.
So, yeah, we're lucky in that
really,
respect,
the rain came night before last, and when I woke up, there's not a sign of snow.
Right.
It was gone, boom.
Right. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back in a moment with more of today's show. Right there.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental health care needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I am always happy to be on the set with Loretta Christian and the Horseplay people. And it's been a while since I've seen you. Got snowed out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad you're out and about.
Yeah, I'm out and about doing my thing.
Big things happening for Horseplay, and I know it's been a hard year.
Oh, yes.
It's been a hard year for everybody. All nonprofits have had a hard time. And
yeah.
Just tell people why we need to make money for Horseplay, what it benefits, in case they've forgotten.
Horseplay is a nonprofit here in Tullahoma. We offer therapeutic horseback riding for boys and girls who have challenges. They start riding with us at 3.5, 4 years of age and goes until 18. We have 60 boys and girls from 5 counties, Moore County, Lincoln, Franklin, Grundy, and Coffee County. And the parents never have to pay Horseplay anything for their child or their children, because we have some brothers and sisters or sisters that ride at Horseplay. And Horseplay has a lot of good supporters. We have very loyal people, businesses that support Horseplay every year. And this past year was hard on everybody because people couldn't go to work. Businesses had to shut down, restaurants.
Some people just simply didn't have the money. That's true.
Yeah, the money was short everywhere. But Horseplay works off of donations, sponsorships, fundraisers. Anything anybody wants to give us, we don't turn down. Money is always useful because it pays the bills, and we have 2 instructors that we have to pay, but everybody else are not paid. We work off of volunteers, which we need volunteers all the time. We need them to sign up now for.
if they can read that, they can get the address.
Yeah.
The website is Horseplay Incorporated?
HorseplayInc.org. That's the website. Or you can go on Horseplay Inc. on Facebook and check us out. We have photos of the boys and girls riding. There's pictures of our horses. And one of the things that's coming up this year, we're going to do a spring camp for boys and girls 6 to 12 years of age. And the spots are limited for the children to come and ride. It'll start March 15th and go until the 19th from 8 until 12. And it costs $250, which $100 is put down as a deposit to save your spot for your child to come. They will be, these are not for our children that participate in sessions. This is for boys and girls who can ride and sit up by themselves. Our children all have to have sidewalkers to help support them in the saddle because they have back, so many issues that they cannot sit up by themselves.
So y'all are always looking for volunteers that are willing to be sidewalkers, right?
Yes, ma'am. We need sidewalkers. We need people that can lead the horse around. Right now we're having, Holly's been having volunteer training out there on Monday nights. I don't know when she'll start another class, but volunteers are very important.
Oh, yeah.
A 13-year-old can be a volunteer out there. They are given the job of helping clean up after the horses. They can brush the horse. They can help wash them and get them ready for sessions or anything. They can come out and do
There's a lot of work to do. It's constant. You want to tell them about the brick?
Yes, ma'am. And so if you want your child to sign up for the spring camp, you can contact Holly at 931-307-0774, or you can PM us on Facebook to reserve your spot. And like I said, the spots are limited, so the sooner you can...
You know how many they can accommodate?
We only have 8 animals.
8 animals, okay.
So that eight people at the camp is all we can have a place for. And
it seems like a wonderful opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. It'll let boys and girls that don't normally get to be around the horse and ride. Right. It'll give them an opportunity to come in and learn a little bit about riding and be around the horse.
And these people aren't handicapped people.
No, they're not.
They're just people that want to ride, and maybe they'll learn to want to help.
Yes, ma'am.
In the group.
When some of them are, like 6, 7, 8 years old, they couldn't help right now, but the 12-year-olds should be going teenagers before long. But yeah.
How long have you been doing the horseplay, Loretta? You're such a great volunteer.
This, I believe, is my 4th year.
4th year. Well, you do a great job. You do lots of fundraising. I love this brick.
I love the children.
I love this brick. So you're still selling these, right?
Yes, ma'am. This is an ongoing thing. The brick sale, that's for our patio. Can I stand up?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an idea that Susan Finger came up with, was the memorial patio. And what we're doing is we're selling these bricks. They're $75 a piece, and they're for anybody that wants to buy them, and in honor or in memory of someone, a family member or someone that loved horses.
Or maybe just for yourself.
Oh, yeah. And you can... You have 3 lines that you put the name on and who it's for, and if it's for their horse or pony, you can put the pony's or horse's name on there. And
I think that's really sweet. I think not only is it a great donation, but you have something to remember when you walk on the patio. I think that's a beautiful gift, and so many people don't really need gifts. I think this is to give a gift that benefits such a great organization is a wonderful thing.
This is going to be a pretty good sized patio. It's going to be 14 by 12. And we're going to have benches out there for people to sit on. We're going to have trees planted and I want pampas grass. I think that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And
well, you've already done a lot of creative things there. That the signage, I'm so impressed with that.
We have a
they're beautiful
woodcrafter here in Tullahoma that's done our signs. He did the sign for our entrance. He did the sign over the Century Trail. He did the sign up there on the riding arena. And
I love it, and because when you look at the signs, you automatically know that they belong to horseplay, and all of them are similar, and it's just a very creative and classic thing to do, and we're very proud of what he has done.
And then
who did it? What's his name?
I can't think. Mr. Joe. I can't
Joe,
think of his
I just can't remember his last name, but what an artist he is.
Yes, ma'am. And he did all this by hand, and that goes around it. That's a rope.
Oh, how nice that is.
Yeah,
well, it looks fabulous. I love it.
Yes, ma'am. And then in May, after Mother's Day, haven't got the date yet, but we're going to have an open house at Horseplay. We want people, the public, to come and see what we've done with our facility, how much we have grown. We have an office out there now.
Good.
And our program director, Holly, is fixing her office up so she can get in there and start working. And but on the open house, we're going to have brochures. We're going to have forms out there for anybody who wants to sign up to be a volunteer can do that.
And I'm sure you'll take money if people would like to do donations. It's a great time.
Yes,
any amount helps.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Like I said, horses eat a lot. And I
wondered about that. Do y'all raise any of the hay on the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And your husband does that, doesn't he?
He cuts the hay, he rakes it.
And we need to thank him because there's a big job right there.
Yes, ma'am. He stays busy out there all the time. And anything that goes wrong, if it's something he can fix, he does. Last week, he was out there fixing the water trough. The heating element in it had started messing up, and the water was leaking out of the horse's trough.
We're going to be cut off here, and you can come back and talk some more. And I admire what you do, and I hope that everybody will donate and buy a brick and come to the open house, and remember to sign up for the spring camp. And we'll be back with more.
My great-grandfather started it in 1900, and now it's 2020, which is 120 years. We still measure your feet, still try to help you find a good fit. We're just a good old-fashioned shoe store where we'll measure your feet, make sure you're in the right size, and help you find a comfortable shoe for men, women, and children.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. about this and that. It's Conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hello everyone, I'm John Rigman.
And I'm Pat Welch, and we're here today, TV Land, for the segment 97 of the Conversations with John and Pat.
Pat, straighten us out. Who was that other pitcher? We mentioned the Sheffields.
Last week we've talked about professional pitchers currently, and both you and I showed a tendency to dementia because neither one of us had come up with, and it's on different tongue. David Hess. David Hess is in the Baltimore organization. He played in the American Little League in Tullahoma. He's a great pitcher at the high school. And his parents are Charlotte and I believe Jeff. And if I've missed one of the parents' names, the next segment we'll correct it too. But
we'll apologize and just go on.
That's right.
We don't mean to. We don't mean to have.
We're both on limited batteries, I believe, but we have. At least we come up with 1 week the correct name.
Pat, I want to show you this. This is the Ballad of Davey Crockett.
Now, is that Fess Parker?
That's Fess Parker. Now this is music from my sister played piano, and we had that music at our house, and I guess I confiscated it and took it with me, and that's Fess Parker. Walt Disney did a series of
they either Saturday or Sunday night.
Yeah, and, it was great. Everybody loved it.
My family went to Gatlinburg one time and found one of those cheap souvenir shops, and about 3 coonskin caps came out of there because of that picture.
Kids had little toy muskets.
Oh yeah.
And this is a song that was inside there.
He had an Indian friend, Mingo.
Huh?
I had an Indian friend named Mingo.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great show.
Oh, it was.
And I haven't seen it in a long time. But born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, greenest state in the land of the free, raised in the woods so he knew every tree, killed him a bar when he was only 3. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. All through the woods he's a marching along, making up yarns and singing a song, itching for a fighting and righting a wrong. He's ringy as a bar and twice as strong. Davy Crockett, the buckskin buccaneer. His land is biggest and his land is best. From the grassy plains to the mountain crest, he's ahead of us all, meeting the test, followed his legend into the west. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier.
That brings back a lot of Walt Disney memories for me, John.
We kids had a big time with that. I don't know what years that was, but
it was the early 60s, I believe.
Yeah, I want to talk about another famous Tennessean.
Okay.
He was from Marshall County. Marshall County's had 3 governors, Pat: Jim McCord, Henry Horton, and Buford Ellington. And Buford Ellington is the one.
All from Marshall County, or some of them were transplants, weren't they?
Buford Ellington came from Holmes County, Mississippi. He was born in 1907, went to Millsaps College in Jackson, Mississippi, but dropped out due to financial difficulties. He married, he edited a newspaper in Durant, Mississippi, but then he married a sweet, charming young lady from Marshall County, Catherine Ann Cheek, and he moved to her native Marshall County. And there's the couple right there.
We'll count him as a Marshall County man then.
He bought a store at Verona. That's between Caney Spring and Lewisburg. Ran a peddling wagon and farmed. He later would be a supervising salesman with the Farm Bureau.
If you had a business in Verona, John, you're automatically native. Thank you. Keep going.
He affiliated with the Democratic Party, was elected to Marshall County, sent to the Tennessee House of Representatives. He campaigned for Frank Clement in '52. When elected, he appointed Ellington as Commissioner of Agriculture. In 1958, he ran for governor, and while not winning any of the 4 major metropolitan areas, he was elected, and he was he was very popular with the common folk, or the rural folks. In 1965, after he served his term, President Lyndon Johnson appointed him as director of the Office of Emergency Planning, which now is FEMA. He would be the first FEMA person leader. He ran again for governor in '66, defeating John J. Hooker, and this time he won 3 of those 4 sections, metropolitan sections. But Ellington died April 3rd, '72, while playing golf at Boca Raton, Florida. He was only the age of 64. And the golf course at Henry Horton is named for him, as well as Ellington Agriculture Center in Nashville. But this was written about Buford, showed his humility and confidence in himself. He was a man of the people. Too many times when a farmer is asked, "What's your occupation?" he kind of ducks his head and says embarrassingly, "I'm just a farmer." Buford Ellington was a man who never was embarrassed to say he was a man of the soil. He was proud of it and proud to tell others. Nor did his family forget his beginnings in the county. He chose, now this is one thing that you and I were I'd seen it before but never thought much about it, but we went over to Chapel Hill, to Lawrence's funeral home when Murray Holton passed away, our friend, and inside a little glass case they have pictures of, put up another picture there, there he is with the Farm Bureau group, and go to the next one if you will. And that's when he passed away, and when we were there at the funeral of Murray, or visitation, you noticed in there was such a big...
It was a huge write-up. It was like, that's not the first visitation we've been to over there, John. It's like going back in the 40s or something. And I'm not too sure what it says about Chapel Hill when the most thriving business is the funeral home there. But it's a kind of the social...
It is. They have rocking chairs out on the front porch.
I think that people go out there and discuss the topics of town, even if there's not a body there.
I do too. Buford would have his funeral. He'd rather have it here, according to one of the directors of the funeral chapel there, Thomas Lawrence. He said he would rather be here than to have a funeral in a big fine place somewhere else.
Well, it had in a really prominent area of the funeral home. He had a write-up and some acknowledgments of this day, and President Johnson, I believe he was there.
Let me tell you who was there.
They said the Secret Service was everywhere.
I'm prepared today.
You are doing well.
Former President Lyndon B. Johnson with wife Lady Bird, Vice President Spiro Agnew, former Ellington. They had headed the list of dignitaries. Governor and Ms. Winfield Dunn, former Governor Gordon Browning, and most of the state's congressmen. Mississippi, since he was from the state of Mississippi, 4 living former governors came to the funeral. Can you imagine all those people coming down to Chapel Hill, that small little town, and having so much going on at that funeral home just south of the town? Numerous senators, congressmen, members of the Tennessee General Assembly, and also a fella named Tennessee Ernie Ford was there. I'm sure every farmer in Marshall County will be here, said Ms. Garrett Lawrence, wife of one of the funeral directors, who was a longtime friend with the Ellingtons. The hearse bearing the body traveled from Chapel Hill through Lewisburg to Lone Oak Cemetery. The minister was saying words of comfort to the family under the funeral tent when the feathered friends made good on their title as being the official bird of Tennessee. Their music from the treetops overrode human words for the rest of the gathering. Buford Ellington was home to stay in the country he loved. After the governor died, the Nashville Banner went to Verona store one day and interviewed some of the people.
Was the cemetery near Verona then? Is that what you're...
Cemetery was at Lewisburg.
Okay.
But Verona, this lady went to the Verona store, and they were sitting around a coal-burning stove in the back of the Verona store. Wednesday, they were talking about the man who used to run the store before he became governor of Tennessee. One said, "I've pitched hay with Buford many a time." Another said, "I used to work in the store here for him on Saturdays. And I drove a milk truck for him. Yeah, I used to work his corn when I wasn't in school." On a trip back from the store.
That's one of those deals where everybody knew him after he did well.
I like this one a whole lot. On a trip back to the store when he was in Washington, this man said he had just got back from a trip from Washington. He came home to Verona. He sat here in the back of the store with some of us and ate Vienna sausages and crackers. He said he felt far more at home than he did here than he did in Washington. I've heard it said, I like this, humility will get you an audience with the king. Buford Ellington remained humble from beginning to end. When he died, it caused quite a stir in tiny Chapel Hill. He was a good man, public-minded, never forgot the regular folks back at his home county. And this is also a tribute to Lawrence Funeral Home, a funeral chapel in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. And they serve, Pat, people all the way over to Rover, to Unionville, over to Laws Hill or Farmington, Caney Spring.
And it's just out of that one spot. They only have one.
They go wide. College Grove and Allisona, or Arrington, a lot of people go there to have their funerals conducted by those wonderful people at Lawrence Funeral Home.
The picture and the write-up of the Ellington funeral at Lawrence was really interesting when we were over there. But also there was a receipt and bill for a funeral. I believe it was in the really early 40s, and that was pretty incredible. And they charged the family for a tie at 25 cents, I think. Suit maybe $10. They even had this undershirt, had a price tag on it, and the whole funeral, it probably wouldn't come to $500, maybe something like that, and they gave him 10% discount for cash on the day of the funeral. It was a really interesting
We need to wind up, but tell one more little short story, Pat, about Murray Holton, the coach at Chapel Hill, who passed away.
And we went to that visitation. Now, Murray, for those that don't remember, that we've talked about him several times, he was John's teammate and at Chapel Hill in high school, and he was a very successful high school coach at Forest School or in Chapel Hill. And Chapel Hill and probably their biggest rival, and Lynchburg's probably biggest rivals each other. They really got after each other, but with real respect for one another. Both fan bases and players have always respected one another. But when Murray died, he had 3 daughters, and one of his daughters went to get a tie because they felt like he didn't have a new enough tie to be buried in. And she came back with a really light blue, Columbia blue tie, and I think they already had it on him. And then somebody said, wait, and Murray's not going to be buried in that Lynchburg blue tie, and had to go back to the men's store and get another tie. They weren't going to go into the ground with a Columbia blue Moore County tie on.
We like them Moore County boys now. We've all grown up and got over it.
That's right. All right, John, that wraps up segment 97. We have 3 more for a 100. And I am excited, and I hope management is too. Thank you all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental healthcare needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
And welcome back, folks. And Peggy and I were just talking about things that get canceled.
Oh,
and all
canceled
this
all over the place.
Yeah, things that went.
We've been pushing stuff up at the Civic Center constantly.
Right.
And we had a jazz show coming up. We've moved it to April 30th, and I forgot what else, but several events have been moved forward, and that's just the way it is. Most people are kind enough to let us do our contract and honor, our deposits and everything so that we can move forward.
But there's been, as we said, there are a lot of things that have not been able to come off when they were supposed to. South Jackson Street Band, one of those.
Our last event was in December, and then we just closed down. We canceled February at Bell Buckle. That's one of our favorite things to do, the Valentine's dance. But Gregory got COVID himself, and we closed it. But we'll be back next year,
right?
God willing.
Yeah, we could be on the downhill side of this now because if the vaccine supply continues to improve,
I think it's going to constantly get better.
Perhaps we'll be semi-normal.
Right.
By late summer.
I think we've all forgotten what normal is.
Right. We have.
We live in an abnormal world right now.
Right.
But we're surviving.
And I think right now we're going to bring you some South Jackson Street Band.
There probably are clips from our job in Bell Buckle last year.
Right.
They're always so gracious. It's a wonderful event, and we hate to miss it.
Right.
So I don't know what it is, but it's the South Jackson Street Band playing away, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're pleased to have joining us on the set now Charlie Graham, and Charlie is a master gardener, and he's here today to tell us about some really exciting things that's coming up real soon in Tennessee.
Yes, Jim, we have coming up here real soon is a Tennessee Tree Day.
Uh-huh.
And what we do is we are working with. There's a clip on the screen right now that will tell you some about it. It tells you that if you want to pick up a tree or several trees, there's I think it's $1.99 donation that's asked for the trees each. There are several trees that we offer. We need to get the orders in by the 7th of March. After the 7th of March.
Are you buying the trees from the state, or are you buying them from your organization?
We get them from the Tennessee Tree Council.
I see.
Or Environmental Council. I'm sorry. That's who we get them from. Now these trees they're seedling type trees. They're not potted in soil.
Right.
So they're like anywhere from a foot to 3 foot, depending on the variety of tree that you want to get.
And they're easier to plant, I guess, that way, right?
Well, they're easier in some respect because you don't have all the big tub of dirt you've got to deal with.
Right.
But you can take the seedling, you put it in the ground, you dig a hole, you put it in the ground, water it, loose soil around it. A lot of times you got to stake it so that it doesn't fall over because the ground is loose until it gets the roots set up. But we expect to have great numbers this year. Last year we had about 6,000 volunteers that got trees and planted over 42,000 trees.
Oh my goodness.
Now when those trees mature, it will give a canopy cover to over 500 acres. And that's what we're looking at. So by the end of 2025, the goal for the Tennessee Environmental Agency is to plant over 1 million trees.
Pretty lofty goal there.
Pretty lofty goal,
right?
But we're working on it. We're getting more and more volunteers every year, and people that want to buy trees and to plant them. So we're doing really good with that. We have some varieties of trees, and if it's okay, I'll tell the people what the varieties of trees that are that they have. I don't know that they are all still available or not. Bald cypress, eastern redbud, northern red oak, white oak, pecan, shortleaf maple, red mulberry, silky dogwood, tulip poplar, sweet gum, wild plum, and buttonbush. Those are the different varieties.
And Charlie, I guess all of those trees are trees that would grow well in this environment in Tennessee.
Jim, all these trees are native to this area of Tennessee.
I see.
Tennessee, because we are spread so wide across the nation, we are broke into 3 different sections. So trees that we have available are available for central Tennessee, middle Tennessee.
Right.
They may not be the same ones that you would get if you were in eastern Tennessee or in western Tennessee.
Right, I see.
Okay, these are native plants for us here.
Right.
So, that's what we try to do, and we try to tell people, that you want to plant not for you, but you want to plant for the tree or for the plant that you're putting in the ground. If I wanted to grow coconuts, I'm in the wrong place to grow coconut.
Right.
It's not going to go well here. So I need to plant trees, and the more native plants, the better we are.
Right.
Okay. There's a website that was on that sheet that people can pull up, and if they go to that website, it can get a little bit, well, for somebody like me that's not real computer literate, you go to the website, you scroll down, and you click on where it says order trees here, and for your region, western, central, or eastern Tennessee. Once you click on that, it'll bring up another page. You scroll down, you click on Central Order Trees Here. That will bring up another page. You scroll down and select the quantity of trees. It's got a list of all the trees that are available, and it will say on there some of them that they're sold out.
I see.
So you click on how many trees you want of each variety. You go to the bottom of that page, click, and to go to continue. You fill out some details. Once you fill out the details there about who you are and where you live at and all, you click on continue. You go to another page, and there's some additional information that they want to find out. Is this your first time that you're doing this? Have you done this before? Just some basic questions, nothing real personal.
Right.
Once you fill that out, you click continue, and you'll go to a page that's for payment information.
I see.
So it gives a different methods that you can pay
what
for.
What do the trees cost, or do they vary?
The trees they're all the same price, and the trees are all, I want to say $1.95 a piece.
Oh, that's a heck of a deal.
That's a real good deal, considering if you go to a nursery and you get a 3-foot tree, it's probably going to cost you $30, $50 or more. But we have these, and we put out a lot of them every year.
And I'm sure that's really important for a lot of reasons. I guess a lot of trees are being cut for construction and that kind of thing, and So it's important they be replenished.
Yes, it is. And, this helps with the canopy covering the earth. It helps with the oxygen that the trees all make. It also helps with groundwater.
Right.
When we have all the big heavy rains like the news tells us we're fixing to get here this weekend, the trees help to absorb that water out of the ground so that we don't have so much soil erosion. Right. So it helps us out in several ways. Of course, then there's all the wildlife that live in the trees or off of the trees, and and it helps with them too.
Right.
The group that I belong to is the Crimson Clover Lobster Gardeners, and we have a small group here. We are a growing organization. We involve our Master Gardener group involves Coffee County and Franklin County, and we have some really great people there. And for the people that don't know what Master Gardeners are or what they do, is we study, we learn. It's a continuing education, that we promote. You learn about soil, you learn about insects, you learn about placement of plants and trees. You learn about gardening, how to grow bigger, better tomatoes and watermelons. And we are associated with UT. University of Tennessee, so we get a lot of trials where you can apply for a seed trial. You get some seeds from them, and you grow 2 different types of one variety of plant. Maybe squash or zucchini or broccoli or whatever you ask for. You grow them, you take care of them, and then at the end of the season, you harvest the fruit off of it, and you cook that, you eat it, you fill out reports, and you let them know if you had problems in growing it, if there was special things that you had to do, how did it taste? Was it tender? Was it hard to eat? Different things, so that
this is a notch or two above me deciding I'm going to plant some flowers that I know nothing about.
That's it.
And going out there and putting it in the ground.
But the thing about it is that with the Master Gardeners, you can be the very basic, not know anything, and if this is something that you have interest in, you can come in, you can learn about this. One of the first things that I learned about this was about soil testing. If you test your soil, people think, well, why do I need to do that? It's dirt. Well, it's not dirt, it's soil. And if you relate that to if you're going to take a trip and you're in one place, how do you know how to get where you're going if you don't know where you're at when you start?
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
That makes sense if you think about it. We have, like I said, we are associated with the University of Tennessee. We have ag extension agents that work with us, that this is part of their job to work with the Master Gardener groups. And I may be a little prejudiced, but I think we have 2 of the best in the state of Tennessee here. With our Coffee County Extension office, that is located at 1331 MacArthur Street in Manchester, we have Anna Duncan. And if anybody needs to contact Anna about anything to do with your plants, your garden, or if you're interested in becoming a Master Gardener, contact her at 931-723-5141.
Okay.
Over in Franklin County, we have another lady that is fantastic. That office is at 330 Joyce Lane in Winchester. Her name is Morgan Freeman, And Morgan's phone number is 967-7615. And these ladies are both very knowledgeable. Like I said, I may be prejudiced, but I think we got two of the best ag extension agents.
And you really, before I run out of time, Charlie, you guys are really wanting to promote getting people involved in this Master Gardener program.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Right.
And to get people to understand what Master Gardener is about, and it's not about joining a group where you go out and you do all the work.
Right.
You may do some work, but if I come to a group that you're associated with, I'm going to be teaching you how to do it.
Right.
Okay? Not so much that I'm going to do it, I want you to learn how to do it.
Sure.
And that's what the Master Gardeners are there for, and that's why we need to learn. It's an ongoing learning process.
Okay.
So that we get better and better, because you're going to get better and better. And if you want to learn more, then I've got to learn more to be able to teach you more.
All right. Makes sense. And of course, don't forget about ordering the trees. You got until
until March the 7th to order trees.
Okay.
And then the trees will, let me see, get back to that page. The trees will be in March the 19th and 20th for pickup. That's on a Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Friday, they'll be picked up anytime between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Saturday, they can be picked up between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m.
I see. And where is the pickup point?
The pickup point is at the UT Ag Extension Office in Manchester.
Okay.
That's a CCAP building.
Right.
That's at 1331 MacArthur Street in Manchester.
Okay. All right. Charlie, very interesting subject. Thank you so much for coming by today. And we may have to have you back again. We'll talk some more about. I might actually learn how to plant something and know what I'm doing here before this is over with.
Anytime, Jim.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll be right back, folks, right after this.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here to share some good old Tullahoma history with everyone. And today's topic will be on railroading. Tullahoma, of course, was a railroad town, and 150 years ago, they started building the railroad between Nashville and Chattanooga, the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad, and they completed it about 1855, and then they continued to build the branch line from Tullahoma to Manchester and McMinnville and Sparta. A great way to send goods all over the country from this part of Tennessee. Hardwood was one of the great commodities and products of the Middle Tennessee area, and thousands and thousands of board feet of hardwood were shipped out of here. Also, one of the great products and activities agriculture-wise was the tobacco industry. They had a tobacco war in Springfield and Robertson County around the turn of the century, and they moved, some of the tobacco growers moved to Tullahoma because the soil here was much like that in Robertson County, and acres of fine, dark-fired tobacco was raised here, and they shipped their tobacco in 550-pound rolls called hogsheads, and the freight depot was just full of that, and they sent carload after carload of fine tobacco out of this area. And some people might not know that in Deckard, Tennessee, they shipped tons and tons of sweet potatoes by rail to the seaports to ship by ship to Europe and South America, and Deckard, Tennessee was known as the sweet potato capital of the world, and it too was shipped by railroad. The photograph that I show here on the screen is the second depot. The first depot was burned, and this one was built in the 100 block of North Atlantic Street. If you can see it, there's a hotel right behind it. It was the Park Hotel. It burned later, but the freight depot and the passenger depot were in the 100 block of North Atlantic Street, and meant a whole lot to Tullahoma because there were 16 passenger car trains that came through Tullahoma until 1968, and you could get anywhere you wanted to, from Tullahoma to Chicago to Florida. And they had 3 or 4 streamline trains, the Georgian and the Flagler and the South Wind, that you could, and the Dixie Flyer, you could get on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and be in Chicago the next morning at 7 o'clock, and it was wonderful, the freight and the schedules that they made. Very important part to the commerce of Tullahoma and Tennessee. A great part, and it's amazing to me that they have not changed the routes. They must have had good surveyors on the railroads, because those tracks are still right there just like they were 150 years ago, and it meant a whole lot to Tennessee and this area to have such good railroad facilities. The freight depot was moved in 1921 2 blocks south, because when the freight train stopped to load and unload, they blocked Grundy Street and Lincoln Street for motorized traffic. Freight became so motorized and carried in trailers and trucks so much that they discontinued some of the local freight business by railroad, and the freight depot on South Atlantic Street was raised in 1968. And the present building, or depot as it is now in the 300 block of North Atlantic Street, was moved in 1941 when Camp Forrest was first established here, because of the massive troops and people that went by passenger train all over the country. And it was great. And again, much of Tullahoma's history is related to railroading. Thank you very much, and we see you next week on A Moment for the Millennium. Thank you very much.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, welcome back, folks. And
we're going to introduce Doodlebop to the people.
Yeah, Doodlebop came with me today, as she usually does, but we don't let her get out of her little bag. So,
I love that dog.
Yeah.
How old is she?
Doodlebop is 7.
7 years old.
7 years old, yeah.
I don't know what the lifespan of a small dog like that is.
Probably 15.
15.
Some 16.
Which is good.
Yeah.
She's precious.
Yeah, she is. Had some good information today, and makes me want to go out with our last guest, Charlie, there, and plant some trees.
Plant some trees.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think our time is over.
Our time is over.
I think we got to say goodbye.
That's right. Thanks so much for watching.
Say goodbye, Doodlebop.
We'll see you again next week.